Hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to Yoga by the Moon. My name is Michelle, and I'm here to guide you through a full moon practice for the full moon in Aries, October 7th, 2025. Full moons are all about releasing and surrendering, shedding old skins. Our emotions are at their peak. This particular full moon is positioned in Aries, and Aries brings out that fiery energy because Aries is a very strong fire sign, very passionate fire sign, very independent fire sign. So it brings about a lot of emotions within ourselves, things that we're experiencing about ourselves. Aries does that. This particular season that we're in is Libra, and Libra and Aries are actually in opposition on the zodiac wheel, meaning that they're on the exact opposite sides. They're polar from each other on the zodiac wheel. And whenever a full moon is positioned in the opposition sign to the season that we're in, it illuminates what those opposing energies may have in conflict. And in this particular situation, Aries, like I said, is very independent, very much me, but not in a selfish way, not in a bad way, just in a self-focused way. And we all need self-care, we all need self-focus. Aries is very much about that. Libra is about balance and peace and harmony. Libra is very much about connection with others and community and sharing. So the opposing energy that really gets illuminated during this season is the relationship with ourselves, those me relationships versus those we relationships, those external relationships we have with our friends, our coworkers, our significant others, our families, our children, if we have them, any of those external relationships that we identify with. The me versus the we really becomes illuminated under the light of this full moon. And so to really embrace the energy of a full moon, the energy of Aries, the energy of Libra, and to navigate this conflict, what all of these elements are asking of us is to surrender to our emotions, because like I mentioned before, our emotions are running at a peak in a full moon. We are at our highest points. A lot of times people say that things get crazy under a full moon, and it must be a full moon because there's chaotic energy. And what that people are sensing when they are noticing that and making those comments is how high of an emotional energy everybody has around them, including themselves. And all of that emotional energy can feel like chaos, can feel like tension. And so our emotions are at their peak. And Aries and Libra, the opposition, and the full moon itself, they are all asking of us to surrender to those emotions, to experience them fully so that they can pass through you. If you feel your emotions until their end, then the emotion has passed through you and you no longer are holding it in and having that tension in your body. And when you can release that after you've experienced it, you can create peace and harmony and balance. And that's what all of these energies are asking of us. So if we surrender to our emotions, we can create peace and harmony within. When we create peace and harmony within, we can create peace and harmony externally as well as within, so without. And so we find that balance in those me relationships versus those me relationships. We create peace. We harness that energy of the full moon. We balance the energies between Aries and Libra, and we call in especially that extra energy of Libra, creating the balance on the scales. So in this practice, we are going to do a lot of open heart practices, a little bit of fire because Aries is a fire sign, and so bringing fire to the body is a good thing, especially when there is a fire sign involved. But a lot of surrender, a lot of heart opening and surrender to really call in that energy of the full moon and to experience ourselves completely. Get in touch with ourselves, find peace and calm within so we can extend it externally. So if you will join me on the mat, we will begin with a breath practice and then some movement. And then I will guide you through a meditation that will call in the energy of this particular full moon as well. So we're just going to begin in a comfortable seat on our mats, cross-legged if it's comfortable for you, if you want your legs just straight out, if you want to sit in butterfly, whatever is comfortable for you. I like to sit cross-legged. And we're just going to rest our hands on our knees for a moment and arrive at the mat. Feel your sit bones connected to your mat, to the earth, to the floor. Feel grounded where you are. The breath work that we are going to be doing today is called Nadi Shodhana, and that literally means channel purification in Sanskrit. And a lot of people know it as alternate nostril breathing. And what it does is it purifies your channels, your nostril channels, your air channels, your the way that prana or energy comes in and out of our bodies, that life force in and out of our bodies. It purifies it and balances it. And the reason we're going to do that today is because, like I said, we are in Libra season. We are all about surrender and balance today to find harmony within and experiencing ourselves fully. And Nadi Shodhana is a very grounding and calming breath, a very balancing breath, very peaceful breath. So it's calling in to our bodies immediately the energy that we are seeking for this particular practice, for this particular full moon. To do alternate nostril breathing, I like to do a little hang loose sign where your middle three fingers are just folded forward and you have your pinky, that's my pinky, and your thumb out. And what you do is you seal one nostril and inhale in the other, then you hold it, and then you seal the nostril you inhaled through and release the other and exhale out. And then in where you exhaled out, seal off, exhale out where you had inhaled before. And you alternate nostrils that way. Hence alternate nostril breathing. Pretty simple. I'll guide you through 3 full rounds of breath that way. We'll take our little hang loose sign. We're going to take our thumb and seal off our right nostril and take a deep breath in through the left. Retain it. Take your pinky, seal off the left nostril, release the right, and exhale out the right. Now you inhale from the right. Seal that nostril, release the left, exhale out the left. 2 more full rounds just like that. In, seal, release, out. Inhale, retain, exhale. 1 more round. Inhale, retain, exhale. In, hold, out. Now release the entire hang loose and place your palms down on your knees once again and just return to your normal breath for a few rounds. Notice if you feel different or if you don't. No judgment either way. Just notice. Be present in yourself. The more present you are with yourself, the more you can feel through your emotions in deep expression, deep release. One more breath in. And on a breath out, we're going to straighten our legs in front of us. And then on a breath in, we're going to pull our right knee towards our bodies, planting that right foot. You may want to keep it right where it is, or you may want to take the right foot and cross it over the left thigh. Wherever you are, you're going to take your right hand, spin it behind you to kind of prop you up so your chest is lifted. And then inhale, raise that left arm to the sky. And as you exhale, you're going to twist and bring that left arm across your right thigh and twist through your upper body, maybe looking over that right shoulder. Twists are very good for energy purification as well. This particular twist releases in the hips, and our hips store so much of our emotions. So when we can gently release through the hips, we can fully release our emotions as well. One more breath here. And as you exhale, slowly unwind. Bring that foot back in front of you. And before we switch to the other side, just give your legs a nice little jiggle, nice little shake. Sometimes that can be a little tight in your hips or your thighs, and it feels good to kind of shake it out. Next breath in, we're going to bring our left foot towards our bodies, and maybe you just keep it here planted. Maybe you cross that left foot over the right thigh. Wherever you are, spin that left hand behind you to kind of prop you up and keep your chest lifted. Inhale, raise your right hand up to the sky. Exhale, cross it over your left thigh and twist the other way. Maybe looking over that left shoulder, but just a gentle release, nothing crazy. You don't need to go too deep into it. I always like to say, find your edge and back off of it. A lot of people like to say, go hard or go home, or to push yourself always. I like to find ease. Find where our body is today, and that's going to differ from day to day, moment to moment, person to person, and it's all okay. One more breath in, and as you breathe out, we're going to slowly release and untwist. Shake those legs out one more time, and this time we're going to come up onto our shins. And then we're going to sit back on our heels. Now for me, this is extremely comfortable. For a lot of people, this is not. If you happen to have a block nearby, or a pillow or a towel that you would like to roll up, you can place it lengthwise on top of your shins to give you a little space, or the block can go right between and you can sit up on the block to take some of the pressure off of your thighs or your calves, whatever might be hurting you. This is hero pose. Just like in all of our upright seated positions or our standing upright positions, we want to keep our shoulders up and back and down, and our chest up, lifted to the sky, kind of puffing our chest a little bit, gently opening our hearts, gently calming ourselves. One more breath in. As we exhale, we're going to stand up on our knees now. If you had that block or pillow or towel, you can move it to the side. We'll use it again later, but you can move it to the side for now. We're going to take our hands upright behind our backs. I'll turn to the side so you can see, kind of creating those little triangles. And we're going to gently press our hips forward as we pull our shoulders back and down more in a gentle heart opener. Camel variation, not our full camel, not a crazy back bend, but a nice little heart opener. One more breath in like this, and on an exhale, widen those knees as wide as the mat, keeping those feet together. Sit back between your heels, arms up and down. Surrender all the way down into a child's pose, wide-legged child's pose. This is the ultimate posture of surrender. Very calming, grounding posture, bringing us peace, the peace that we are seeking for this full moon, that harmony we are seeking for this full moon. Surrendering to the universe, surrendering to our own emotions. Bringing calm to our bodies. One more breath in here. On a breath out, we are going to come up to hands and knees, all fours position. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Nice flat back, neutral spine, neutral neck. Not cranking your head up, not dropping it down, but just a nice neutral position. On an inhale, we're going to pull that belly to the floor as we look up to the ceiling in cow. Exhale, rounding our spine, dropping our head to the floor in cat. Take a few rounds here in cat-cow to feel into your body, releasing into your spine. Getting some gentle motion before we bring a little bit of heat. One more. Wherever you are. Our next inhale, we are going to come to tabletop once again. Exhale. Inhale, we're going to lift our right leg parallel to our spine. Exhale. Bring that right foot to the outside of your right hand, however many steps it takes. If you want to stay in this sort of 90-90 position with your knees, you're welcome to. If you want to kind of crawl or inch back your left knee, you are more than welcome to. Wherever you are, we're going to press our hips forward into a lovely, lovely lizard low lunge. Lizard is great for hip release as well. Beautiful little stretch for our hip flexor, our outer hip, and our inner thigh. One more breath in like this. And on a breath out, we are going to all rise up with our hands off the mat, maybe gently resting your hands on your right knee. Pulling your chest up, nice tall spine. And you may want to stay here, or maybe you lift that left knee and clasp your hands behind in a high lunge variation, opening our hearts in this high lunge. High lunges are kind of bringing in some Aries energy with that fire posture, bringing in that heat. One more inhale, and keep your hands behind you, keep your legs as they are, but on an exhale, we're going to slowly bow forward into a humble warrior with a nice chest stretch. We're not going to stay here for very long, but this is a wonderful posture for that emotional surrender as well. One more breath in. When we breathe out, we're going to plant our hands to the mat, drop our left knee, bring our right knee to meet the left. Now maybe you want to just stay right in an all fours position. Maybe you want to drop knees, drop your chest to the mat, then drop your chin to the mat. And then on an inhale, slowly lift your head, neck, and shoulders in a baby cobra. Exhale, bow. Inhale. We will all meet in tabletop, all fours. On your next inhale, your left leg is going to come parallel to your spine. And on an exhale, step that left foot to the outside of your left hand, as many steps as you need to take. You're welcome to keep your knees in these positions, or you can crawl that right knee back. Wherever you are, press those hips forward. Maybe you come up on your tented fingers a little bit. Maybe you take a block to lift you up a little bit. Maybe you already press on up with your hands onto your left knee. Wherever you are, sink into those hips, pressing them forward, getting a nice hip stretch. And maybe you choose to stay here. Maybe on your next inhale, you curl those right toes under and you lift through that right knee. Sometimes it takes a little adjustment, like it did with me. Wherever you are, clasp those hands behind your back, opening your heart in this high lunge, building some heat in the body. One more inhale, and as you exhale, we will surrender into our humble warrior, bowing onto the inside of that left thigh. One more breath in. As you exhale, plant those hands, drop to the right knee. Bring the left to meet the right. Knees, chest, chin, or skip it. Inhale, cobra. Exhale down. On your next inhale, I'm going to turn to the side and we are going to come up onto our feet in a nice little yogi squat. Heels in, toes pointed out. Our heels are still just about under our hip points, maybe slightly wider. We're going to bring our hands to prayer in front of us, taking our elbows to press those thighs on out. If this is uncomfortable for you at all, you can take that towel, block, or pillow, and once again, sit it underneath your hips to create some space, relieve some pressure. Wherever you are, lift that chest. Keep a nice tall spine. This is yet again a nice opening for the hips, nice posture of release. A nice centering, balancing pose. Take a couple breaths here, being in your body. Inhale and exhale. Now I'm going to explain what we're going to do again in a minute before I do it. So you don't just shoot right up and stand up, because we're not going to stand all the way up. We're only going to go halfway up into Goddess. You might want to step your feet out just slightly wider than they are now. And on an inhale, we're going to come halfway up like we are sitting in a chair, keeping our knees bent at a 90-degree angle into Goddess. So inhale, rise halfway up. And like I said, you might want to step those feet a little wider. Maybe you want to keep your hands at prayer. Maybe you want to make goalpost arms to mirror your legs. Maybe you want to raise your arms all the way up. Wherever you are, we're going to take a couple breaths here, building heat once again, stretching those hips, calling in the divinity of the full moon. One more inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. Hands to the mat. If they don't want to reach there, maybe hands to a block or that pillow or blanket. Wherever you are, don't lock out your knees. Have a nice soft buoyancy in your knees. Nice little bend. Take a couple breaths of surrender. And on our next inhale, we're going to crawl our hands forward, step our feet back, lifting those hips to the sky in a downward facing dog. Nice upside down V shape. And inhale that right leg to the sky. Exhale, bring your shin forward, your knee to the side, that right knee to the side. Crawl back on that left knee until you feel a nice stretch in that left hip flexor and in that right outer hip. And maybe you stay up high here in a proud pigeon. Maybe you want to drop down to your elbows or come all the way down to the mat in sleeping pigeon. Wherever you are, adjust your hips where it's comfortable and you're not going too far into the posture. Another beautiful hip release for releasing those stored emotions. The sleeping pigeon version is very good for surrender as well. and breathe. Wherever you are, if you were in sleeping pigeon, we're going to come up onto our hands and the mat in front of us. Curl those left toes so you can press into the top of your toes in the mat. And inhale, exhale, come up to a downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift that left leg to the sky. Exhale, bring that shin forward, knee to the left side of the mat. Crawl back on that right knee until you are comfortable with your right hip flexor. Now sometimes you'll hear that your shin should be parallel to the top of the mat. As you can see, my legs do not do that. I don't think most bodies do. Wherever your body is, if you are feeling a stretch here in the top of that thigh right here in your hip flexor and the outer part of your left leg, you are doing it right. If you want to stay up here in proud pigeon, that is fine. If you want to come down onto your elbows or surrender all the way down into sleeping pigeon, that is fine. Take your pigeon variation wherever is not going past your edge today, and releasing through those hips in a nice, gentle, beautiful, balanced way. If anything is uncomfortable, if you take longer, slower exhales, that will help you signal to your body that you are safe and to let your body release any emotions that may come up. Feel through them as we are supposed to be doing for this full moon. On your next inhale, if you were in sleeping pigeon, come on up on your hands. And this time we are going to swing our right leg in front of us and have our feet come up with making our, bending our knees in front of us. Keep a nice tall spine, shoulders back and down, chest lifted, but sit leaning slightly back. Maybe you want to keep your hands on the mat, on the outer parts underneath your shoulders as you lean back. We're going to go into boat pose, building a little bit more heat. If you would wish, you can maybe lift your left toes so your shin is parallel to the mat and floor. Maybe you lift your right. And maybe you choose to bring your hands off the mat slowly in front of you. Maybe you wish to lean slightly back more and straighten those legs. Building some heat in our body, calling in that Aries energy, allowing our bodies to focus on themselves for a little while. One more breath in here. On a breath out, bring your legs down to the mat, sit up tall. We're going to keep those hands underneath our shoulders, fingertips facing forward, palms down, pressing in to those hands, pressing in to the back of your heels on the mat with your legs straight in front of you. And then we're going to inhale. On an exhale, we're going to lift our hips up to the sky, creating a nice long line, pressing into our heels, pressing into those hands. Nice long line from the top of our head to the bottom of our toes in a reverse plank. We'll hold one more breath in. On an exhale, slowly drop those hips back down to the mat. Maybe shake out those legs just a little bit. We're going to bring our feet in now, bringing the soles of our feet together, creating a sort of diamond shape with our legs. Take your hands and clasp them on the outer part of your toes and pull your chest through so you still have that nice tall spine, that lifted chest. If you need to keep your heels out farther in order to do that and maybe grab onto your shins to pull forward, that is fine. If you maybe want to use a strap if you have one, or some stockings or a scarf to bring your feet, the ability to wrap yourself around your feet while keeping your heels out, you may. If you're more comfortable with your heels all the way in, that's fine too. This is butterfly, a beautiful hip release. Like I said, we store so many of our emotions in our hips, and the ability to release through our hips is so important, to feel through our emotions, to surrender to those emotions and create that internal harmony so that we can extend that harmony outward in all of our relationships. You may choose to stay here in butterfly to finish our practice. Maybe you wish to come back to that comfortable cross-legged seat, Sukhasana, easy seat. Or maybe you wish to lay all the way down on your back in a traditional Shavasana. Wherever you are, you may have a soft gaze or close your eyes as I take you through a brief meditation designed for this particular full moon. Take a deep breath in, sigh it out. We're winding down our practice now, coming back into ourselves, becoming introspective, digging deep inside. Bring awareness and attention to your physical body, to your being. Just notice where you're feeling tension, where you're not. What feels more comfortable, what doesn't. With every inhale, imagine the bright, radiant light of this full moon filling your entire body. Every exhale, let go of whatever tightness you have, areas of tension, be they physical or emotional. Invite the white light of the moon into your heart, body, mind, and spirit. Aries is courageous, and the force of this beautiful full moon, allow it to fill you with confidence. The light of this moon in Aries will illuminate your heart's desire. Allow it to. As you breathe in, every breath you take makes the light grow more brilliant, more shining. Every exhale blows away any clouds of self-doubt, fear, stress, worry. While these clouds release, this moon illuminates the path that you must follow to fulfill your heart's desire. Allow the fullness of this moon to radiate through you. This brings you strength. And this strength will carry you through the journey ahead of you. And it fills you with hope, joy, love, peace. Take one more breath in for yourself, breathing in love, peace, and harmony for you and you alone. And as you breathe out, extend that love, peace, and harmony outwardly, whether you want to just extend it to one person or more, or the whole world, whatever calls to you. But those external relationships that need love and peace and harmony, extend that out with every exhale, and extend it to yourself with every inhale. One more breath in like that. Hold it at the top so you can retain that love for yourself. Breathe out and extend it wherever you wish, wherever is needed. Whenever you're ready, bring some slow, gentle movement to your body, maybe twisting through your wrists and ankles, your elbows and your knees, your neck, shoulders. If you were laying down, turn to one side and slowly press on up. If you had a soft gaze or your eyes were closed, gently open them wide and arrive back here in this moment, here in your body. I want to thank you so much for surrendering to your emotions with me today, for honoring this full moon in Aries and bringing in Libra's energy. I hope you felt that peace and balance within, and that you notice it without after today's practice. Now next week, October 13th, will be the last quarter moon, and we will have a lovely, lovely, juicy, calming practice for that particular moon phase as well. And I invite you to join me once again. As always, I'm honored that you show up for yourself with me. And from my heart to yours, truly, namaste and happy full moon.